Okay, I am parked right here. Okay, and I want to go to McDonald's across the street, but in McDonald's, they don't have any parking spots where I can just drive in and drive out. I have to back up. Probably. I haven't gone in there that much, but I have to back in, back out, and risk getting in an accident. So what I'm trying to promote here is parking spots, which would really help out the insurance company. Now I have to walk farther, so it's healthier, but you can see all these parking spots right here. You can drive into them and then drive out without ever having to back out. Over there, you have to back out. Okay, I'll now start explaining the benefits for insurance, health, and peace of mind. Hello, welcome. When I'm in the United States, and I'll be in the United States for a couple months this time, trying to visit my sisters and my brother and my family and my nephews and nieces. A great way to return to the United States. One of the good reasons to return. Okay, when I'm driving the car, I like to play, okay? And I'm very strategic thinker, okay? And I have tactics on how I do things. And I'm driving my sister's car, so I want to be extremely careful with it. And so what I always do, but I did this when I had a new car, when I was 16, I had many different cars, right? But when I drive into a parking lot, I don't take the first spot. I always try to find a spot where I can drive through, and I'll be parked on the other side of the parking spot, so I can just drive out, so I never back out. So I've been doing this now for about 6 or 8 days, and I'm finding it quite easy. There's some caveats, and I'm going to call it kind of the Olympics of parking cars or something like that. And I really would like people to try to do this. Life is a game, and parking car can be good fun. Strategically parking a car in the safest manner, such as without requiring the driver to back out, can help avoid accidents, okay? This approach is safer, healthier, and beneficial for insurance companies, okay? The insurance companies all love this one, but I think we could make an app, okay? And right now your apps can work on GPS, whether connected or not connected. See, I have downloaded Google Maps, and I don't have an internet connection on my phone, but what I do is I still can use Google Maps, and this app would be really nice because what you can do is have a connection to GPS all the time. It's probably going to be the same kind of system almost as these new cars that are supposedly without drivers. I'm not sure I like that idea, but nonetheless, you can have this on an app on a smartphone, or you could put it in the computer on the car. And what the goal would be is that it records and documents all your trips, right? And so as you're going around the city, anytime that you started to back up, it would start recording and documenting that. It could document all the other things too, and it would be very nice to kind of have a map of where you're going. On the other side is, I'm not sure this information is what I really want the government to know. Okay, but there's probably a lot of ways to cheat on this too. But you could sit there and have you could set this up so that it would record how many times you do it. And we can make this into Olympics. I've been trying for years to make an Olympics at the airports, where every time a person goes through that little metal detector without beeping it off, they would get like 5 points or 10 points, and then the airport would log it in. And so every time you go through, it would register how many times you have gone through that metal detector without making it buzz. What would be the advantage of that? The airport would not have to, it would streamline the airport by making it fun, okay? And I'm always amazed at these executives that don't realize that they have metal in their pockets. When they're wearing a suit and whatever, and they're college educated and they can't strategically understand the metal on their body, this is what the goal of that Olympics was. But this Olympic would be parking cars. So the goal is that you park your car and you can always drive away. And that would also do some things. There's some benefits here. Backing up, I got some information I collected from Perplexity, this AI thing. A significant portion of accidents are backing up. 1/4 of all collisions occur while backing up. So a quarter, 25% of the accidents are backing up. So if you didn't back it up, if nobody ever backed up, that they would decrease that. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not easy to set up a bunch of parking lots with no way to back up. I will say that I don't think that the drive-through situation on cars is, the amount of gas being used by people going through the drive-through is ridiculous, okay? And if we're having, or polluting the planet just by that, which is, the bigger pollution is people dropping and picking up their children up from school. Okay, but for fleet drivers, which is like, I don't know, like delivery people, that accounts for 50%. Backing up is numerous injuries and fatalities each year. Okay, it's saying here an estimated 200 people are killed and over 12,000 injured annually in backup accidents in the United States. Now, I would guess that 200 is actually very small because there's many things that we're doing that is backing up, and maybe they're not documenting that way. So I think this is highly underdocumented. But you can see that you could, if you wiped out 25% and you got rid of 12,000 accidents by having everybody conscious on doing it. Now, what would this do? See, a lot of the reasons why people are in accidents is they're not actively involved in trying to have fun driving. What they're really doing is spending their whole time being angry, road rage, and being frustrated that they have to sit in line instead of being like me, where I'm just driving around. I'm driving into the parking lot strategically to say, where can I park so that I don't have to back up? I could just drive away. Where can I park where I will easily remember my car? Where will I park where I can get a lot of exercise? 23% of all fatal large truck accidents involved the rear of the vehicle. According to one source, parking lots are primarily prone to backing up. Now, I showed you a video at the beginning, and I will say that that's not a good example of how to do things, because I realized I'm leaving McDonald's this morning that I have to walk across the street. And I would rather have you back up than I would have you walk across the street. 9% of all pedestrian deaths in parking lots are, almost 10% of all pedestrians getting killed in a parking lot is somebody backing up. Okay, philosophy of. I'm making these philosophy of because I wanted to understand that I have no agenda here, and I don't want anybody to influence me. I don't want to have comments. I don't want to try to make anybody happy. I just want to give you the best opinion and open these things up for discussion. A philosophy thing is when two people are trying their best to be honest. When anybody even slightly does this, clickbait and all these really controversial things, they're not philosophies. They're just really, they're just kind of wankers that are trying to get popular by being doing a thing. But philosopher, how you do anything is how you do everything. So this is how you do. This is a good example of how you do anything is how you do everything. Philosophy is a love of wisdom. Wisdom seeks truth by binding knowledge and experience. So I'm putting together some knowledge here and experience. A philosopher seeks truth without being influenced by love, acceptance, money, or advertising. Okay, so the goal of using your mind should be to bind your knowledge together with experience. When it's just a person that has no actual experience, doesn't want to put it into application, that's really not much. It's not really knowledge, in my opinion. It has to be coupled with some experience. And again, like I'm doing this Patreon thing because I don't want anybody to influence me, okay? I don't want to be different. I was really upset that I used to make pages and write specifically with search engine optimization for Google. And I finally just said, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not working for Google. And when you work for your advertisers, you're a liar. I don't know how anybody on a radio station or television station that's actually talking about products can actually be an honest person. It's really hard. I mean, you might be when you're like Bill O'Reilly and you've been doing it for 30 years or whatever. But these radio announcers, they're pushing products that they don't believe in, as is, all these movie stars and actors and sports kids. This is not honesty. Okay, here's some ideas on this. A record motion of a car smartphone app. So you record the motion, the moving motion. You're going to especially try to measure, though, the distance that you back up, because the longer you have to back up, the more dangerous it is. And you can see that there's a lot of people as you get older have trouble twisting their neck around. These are exercises that a lot of people lose things. I'm always working on my lymph glands to try to keep my brain running, guys. Okay, but it would be GPS connected, global positioning satellites connected. GPS records when a person starts to back up, time, date, and location of where they did it. It records the distance. These are some parameters of what you could do for this. The dashboard is similar to a pedometer, one of these things that measures how many steps you do. You actually have, for some bicycles, similar things that do this. It's just not keying in on one aspect on the reverse part, right? And this is not that this is easy to do, and I would think that like Allstate and Farmers Insurance and all these would really benefit by promoting something like this. I know that the Apple Watch there's people that are in factories right now that if they're wearing these certain watches and they walk a certain number of steps, they get like certain discounts and benefits. It would create a map of your travels. It needs to really work whether you're connected to the internet, data, Wi-Fi or not. I mean, it needs to work no matter what. You need to have it on different levels. You need to have it on a car level. So when you buy a Tesla, that this is in part of the vehicle. See what the goal is. I want you to actually have tactics and strategically look on how to park the best so that you don't back up. People are trying to park in the least amount of exercise, in the least amount of thing, and there's no reward for being a better driver or a better parker. This is giving a reward, a benefit to a person. We could have this on a United States basis where everybody does. It's not high tech. It's relatively easy. Works in the background 24 hours. So you got to have it set up so that it automatically sits there. It uses the very least amount of energy, but still. It has to know when you are in the car, okay? We're going to have somehow to designate the driver that's in the car. So if a fleet of cars or truckers were using this, and maybe they already have this, right? I'm just bringing this up because it's fun to talk about things like this. Could be installed in cars. Turn on camera of car. When a lot of these cars now have this camera that comes out, it could turn it on and show you what they're seeing. Are we seeing the proper thing? And when they get in a car accident backing up and they have that camera, what is the problem? I don't know much about new cars, but it's quite obvious, like drones. They have drones that if they get within so much distance of another thing. See, in my opinion, there's no reason for two different things to happen. One thing is there's no reason to have the police monitoring the speed of cars. We should be able to just connect with the GPS, and anybody goes 10, 15 miles over the speed limit, certain tolerances, they get a ticket sent to them. So this spending money on the police and the idea that there's there's proximity sensors. Why is it possible for a car to back into another car? Okay, I understand the older cars, but a lot of the newer cars. My sister the car was coming out as she was going in. I don't know what happened. She got in a little car accident the other day. Benefits of this. More exercise for the people that are smart. Less accidents. Cheaper insurance. Oh, I should put that there. Cheaper insurance. Encourage engineers, architects to design simpler, better designed parking lots. I was in the library the other day, and it's quite obvious that the parking lot wasn't designed. It actually had curbs and had this little walk thing. And a lot of older people in this library, most libraries are full of older people. They don't need a step up. A step up without a rail is a very, very dangerous thing in snow. I could tell you that any kind of a step, a curb, going up one thing, in a parking lot for in the United States, you need to have it completely flat. You don't need to have these little island things in the middle where you pull up to them. That is very dangerous, okay? Garage that you enter and leave, you could have a garage. See, why don't, my mom and dad had this, and we had a 2-car garage, but you could drive out the back end too. And most garages, if they were really well designed, would have this feature. You know, in the tropics, you can just have a carport, but really, you want to be able to drive in, drive out, whatever. Safe for old people. This would save a lot of lives, guys. Okay, that's it. I'm Andy V. Graham. Anybody that wants to talk about this can become a Patreon. And I'm kind of going live on Zoom on Sundays when somebody requests it. But I can keep coming up with more Olympics. I got the Olympics on how to go through the metal detector in the airport. Now I got the parking car Olympics. And there's the Olympics of, I'm working off of Peter Attia. I've been trying to figure this out. The exercises that you do when what you can do when you're 30, you should be able to do when you're 65. So it's like he came up with like 15 things, but he's really very scattered on this, and it doesn't seem to have made it into a really clear statement. But I'm coming up with a list of 20 things or 30 things that every person 65 years of age should be able to do. And this would benefit. And somehow if we can make this into an Olympics, an actual way where you can have an app and you can sit there and log in what you can do, we can make this a strategy for staying younger. Okay. Obviously, if you had an app that electrocuted you every time you took sugar, that would solve the problem for, the whole medical industry problem, this dementia problem, all this stuff is about sugar and alcohol. Okay, it's a really sad problem because sugar is like a very addictive food, and it's in everything anymore. It's just amazing how many things it's in. Okay, I'm Andy V. Graham. Become a Patreon, and that gives you an access to communicate with me.